Hi, everybody. My name is Ron Poswald. I'm the chair of the Compact License Task Force. We are doing a short little video today to kind of talk about some of the frequently asked questions in regards to compact licensure. My role for this group was to kind of form a group of RTs from across the country to explore this and then to give a recommendation to the AARC on whether or not this is a viable option for respiratory therapists right now. We're going to do just a quick little introduction. Once again, my name is Ron Poswald. I've been an RT since 2005, all in Milwaukee, and I'm going to introduce Steve Zakowski. Steve, can you give a quick introduction of yourself, please?
Yeah, thank you, Ron. So my name is Steve Zakowski, and I am the speaker-elect for the AARC House of Delegates. I also serve in an advisory role to the Vermont New Hampshire Society for Respiratory Care's Board of Directors, working with a variety of committees to increase educational opportunities, professional awareness, and student engagement. I currently work as a lead respiratory therapist for EM Staff, which is a local staffing agency that currently serves the states of Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. And I also work in a per diem capacity for Dartmouth Health at their academic medical center in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Today, I'm also joined by my esteemed colleague, Lexi Caraway, who sits on the AARC Compact Licensure Task Force with us. Lexi, I'm so happy that we could come together today to discuss compact licensure with our membership and other stakeholders who may tune into this coffee talk. Would you introduce yourself for those of us who don't know you?
My name's Lexi Caraway. I'm a registered respiratory therapist and an active member of the Illinois Society for Respiratory Care's Board of Directors. I serve as a delegate and also as PACT co-chair. I also co-chair the Chartered Affiliates Committee in the House of Delegates. I am currently working as a respiratory care practitioner at Carl Richland Memorial Hospital in Olney, Illinois. Steve, let me ask you a question. What are the next steps in the Compact Task Force?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the task force will need to determine the top 10 states for us to target based on various factors. The most important of which will be whether the state society has the bandwidth to get this legislation introduced and passed. So we're currently preparing a survey that will be distributed to the state societies through AARC Connect. We will use the results of the survey to determine if it's conceivable for states to lobby for compact licensure at this time.
Can you elaborate more on that statement?
Of course. The state societies are actively working on their own legislation right now. Ultimately, we need to determine if these societies have the resources to pursue this currently. So it's going to take them time, money, and usually a lobbyist to introduce this legislation. It's not impossible for them to do without a lobbyist. However, the assistance that the lobbyist could give and all the moving parts necessary to amend a statute are invaluable. So, Lexi, let's get into some of the frequently asked questions and misunderstood facts about compact licensure. Would you briefly tell us the difference between reciprocity and compact licensure?
Reciprocity is an agreement between states to allow state license to other than their own to be granted acceptance to practice in their state. These privileges can be granted by one state to another. Compact licenses are multi-state licenses that allow one healthcare professional to work across several different states.
Yeah, that's a great explanation, and I'd like to add that the compacts are statutory agreements between two or more states. Development of a compact requires that the same legislation be passed within each state and then signed by the governor and put into practice. The nursing compact actually met with us to help respiratory therapists with our efforts, and we met with the chair of the nursing compact recently. Lexi, what was your main takeaway from our first meeting with the chair of the nursing compact?
I was interested to learn that there are 11 other professions actively forming compacts, in addition to the 9 which already exist.
Yeah, great point. I agree. It's nice that we aren't the only profession that's investigating the idea of compact licensure. Can you elaborate on how much a compact or multi-state license would likely cost?
Cost, according to the nursing compact, varies state by state, with a range that goes anywhere from $50 to $300. Another thing that is misunderstood is that if your state participates in a compact, It may offer you an option to get a single state license for less than the multi-state license, but this is at the discretion of the state and not mandated by the compact.
Okay, so what are some of the nursing compact mandates?
You must establish your primary state of residency in a compact licensure state. Furthermore, you must meet your state requirements plus the compact uniform licensure requirements set forth in the compact. For example, the nursing compact requires criminal background checks, which can slow down the process. Some states require RTs to get fingerprints, while some do not. These variances can add some layers of difficulty when attempting to pursue reciprocity.
So you have to meet all state licensure requirements plus additional requirements for a compact license?
Yes, based again on the nursing compact, they have 11 minimum requirements that are agreed on by all participating states and are identical. The nursing compact refers to this as the Uniform Licensure Requirements, or the ULR.
Okay. Did the nursing compact mention specifics in regards to additional testing requirements or maybe some education that's required to obtain a compact license?
No, your testing and credentials are based on the national standards set forth by the credentialing body, in our case, the NBRC. However, each state determines whether continuing education is necessary. For example, if a state has RRT as a minimum requirement for licensure, it will be difficult to draft legislation that varies from that requirement.
I think that residency requirements for compact licensure can also be confusing. Could you talk a little bit about how a compact license may be a little like a driver's license?
Yeah, it may be confusing. You must be a resident with proof of residency in a state that participates in the compact to get a compact license. If you move to another state where they do not participate in the compact, you are no longer eligible for a compact license. If your state does not participate and you are getting your first license, you will not be able to get a compact license. If you have a compact license and you move to a state that is in the compact, you would be required to get a new compact license that represents your primary state of residence. In that way, a driver's license is like a compact. It is issued to you in your primary state of residence and required that you will get a new license when you move. In addition, all states participate because the testing is standardized enough for you to cross state lines with your vehicle.
Yeah, great points, Lexi. I appreciate that explanation because I think that helps to clear things up a little bit. So let's finish out our coffee talk today, maybe with some of the benefits that you see with having a compact.
Sure. I think that compacts can offer consistency that enables collaboration, which is an asset to the profession. It can help address some of the critical workforce shortages in respiratory care, which is good for respiratory therapists and patients. A compact offers flexibility for traveling professionals who can go where they are needed.
Yeah, thanks, Lexi. Yeah, a lot of great points there. So thanks for sharing some of your insights with us today about compact licensure. Certainly our hope that these conversations can help to evolve and truly begin to help us understand the practicality and feasibility of implementing such an ambitious endeavor. I'm going to kick it back to Ron if he has anything else to add at this point.
Great. Thanks, Steve. And thank you, too. You did a fantastic job trying to explain this. This is quite a difficult process. And as you can see, this requires work within the states. And I know you two touched on this a bit, that state societies may already have other legislation that they're actively working. Maybe it's an offensive legislation where they're trying to advance respiratory care. Maybe it's defense legislation where they're trying to protect licensure. So when we're looking at compacts and trying to get a conglomerate of states together for something like this, it's important to know what these state societies are able to do at this time. Do they have the money? Do they have the lobbyists? Do they have the time? Do they have the effort? All of these things are extremely important when it comes to compact licensure. And it's not just about staffing, it's also about moving respiratory therapists across state lines for telehealth and other types of work. Like I was thinking of this yesterday, having a RT transfer a patient from one state to another state in an ambulance, that respiratory therapist is the same high quality healthcare provider just because they're crossing an invisible state line. So it's really important to understand that we are working on these things. We have to give recommendations, but there's a time and a place for everything. And so we are trying to determine whether or not the AARC should invest in a process like this, whether this is feasible and doable. But the work ultimately comes down to the state societies and ultimately down to the ground level, which is the respiratory therapist within that own state. So it's where we talk about trying to engage respiratory therapists in these processes, because that's how we get licensure expanded and that's how we get legislation passed. So I want to thank you too for joining with this and giving us your expertise, and we really appreciate your input in all of that. Thank you very much.